CJ Wiley, a late riser who's really making noises at camps and for the services. David, introduce us to CJ Wiley. What's going on with this guy?
So CJ Wiley is another ex-receiver. He's the wide receiver 13, 115th overall on the On3 industry rankings. We actually have a bunch of verified size measurables on him from a recent On3 camp. He was verified at 6'3" 3/4. 200. Actually, his 210 pounds was, I guess he didn't weigh in. I think that might be an estimation. Regardless, he's pretty big. 33.5-inch arms, 9-inch hands, 81-inch wing. Goes to a really big school in Georgia, Milton High. They were ranked 2nd in the state last year, 11th nationally. So that's a 7-team power rating and a 44 strength of schedule. Plays very good competition. From everything I've read, he's a Georgia lean currently, but he's looking at other schools, LSU, FSU, Auburn, USC. He grades out really well in the athletic model. He's 94th percentile right now. You can see for a big guy, he does get deep separation pretty consistently, it looks like. And he's playing good competition, so that's a good sign. The top mile per hour we have is 21.2 currently. Also has some pretty good track times, like 10.83 is his fastest 100 meter. He has a 4-sport background as well, which definitely helps him in the model. So he did a little basketball, a little baseball growing up, and like I mentioned, the track. So I think he moves really well. Thought he was pretty fluid. Definitely, you can see. I mean, the vertical thing is like his big thing at this point. Although I did think he changed directions pretty well, and it was able to sink his hips. I like his body build in general. Like pretty proportionate. He's not too high waisted, and he can kind of get in and out of his breaks decently. He's just a massive catch radius, and like I think he looks springy there too, like running down the sideline. He kind of like he's kind of light on his feet. Right there, you can see he gets a little bit of. I mean, they're playing zone there, but he's got a little burst to him too. He can get on top of DBs pretty quickly, and I didn't really see anyone catching him in highlights at least, so. Like the speed, definitely good build-up speed type guy. Like we kind of talked about Travis Smith last week. I think I'm a little more open-minded to this guy, to this type of like maybe like a throwback X type, just because I think he just flashes a little more and just seems to move well, and he seems to be really coordinated. Like right there, like you can see he gets pretty easy separation. I mean, that DB kind of fell asleep there, but regardless, I think there's things to work with. I think there's tools to work with. I kind of wrote down he gave me some Devontae Parker vibes a little bit, which is a receiver that's kind of going out of style a little bit. But I think on traits alone, he has an NFL body and athletic profile that the NFL will be interested in regardless. So I think there's a pretty good upside. I will say his tape didn't like. I was looking for like a play that really popped out to me, and I didn't see. That's kind of what I'm going to look for with the senior stuff, to see if there's something that really pops out and really stands out. But right now, I just think he's like a really solid guy. If he goes to Georgia, it wouldn't be great for me because like then it's like I don't get the college side production, and then I'm just like I just have to kind of wait to see if he kind of molds into an NFL guy. So I'm like I have one foot in right now. I'm very interested, but I'm not like completely sold.
All right, I'll throw in some thoughts here on CJ Wiley at the end. But if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not familiar with our content, just want to throw out there, David said, interested in the college side, versus NFL potential. We are doing all of this, evaluating these prospects from a fantasy angle because we roster guys from the college side, get college fantasy points. And when they go to the NFL, they graduate to an NFL side. It's called Campus to Canton is the format. And so if you're checking in because you think CJ Wiley's good, you like recruiting, or you're interested in Georgia, FSU, Auburn, LSU recruiting, you can play college fantasy football, and that's what we are here to do, to evaluate these guys from that perspective. So if you haven't checked out campustocanton.com, go ahead and do that right after you like and subscribe to this video. quick plug there. But Matt, what are your thoughts on CJ Wiley? Any differing opinion here from what David said?
No, not really. Honestly, a lot of the same. I think he's very much a field stretching deep X at the moment. There isn't really much else to his game. But I mean, he is very good in that one area. Bit of a one-trick pony, but is he good enough to get away with it? I definitely in college at least. But he'll obviously have to advance his game as he goes on. But yeah, I mean, I kind of see him as kind of like a Marquez Valdez-Scantling kind of player. Probably not a wide receiver one for a team. Again, unless he advances his skill set a little bit more. But somebody that can definitely have very productive weeks, if they can just go off as a deep threat.
Yeah, we say all the time on the show that he's too tall. He's approaching 6'4". We're kind of out on guys over 6'2" almost. But he's like that big, tall, outside type receiver that we used to fall in love with because we're always trying to find the next Julio Jones. And he is not Julio Jones, but those types of receivers that I know that me and I think you guys both kind of shy away from lately, he does move in a way that is exciting. He is springy. That was a great term that David used. And so many of these guys just look like they're kind of moving a little bit in slow motion and, posting up guys, but he's not posting up guys. I mean, I think he can if he needs to, but like his game is winning vertically, winning with separation. Agree the route tree is a little bit raw right now, but there's some movements on there that make me think he could get separation with burst after, a step or two. And he'll have to learn a little bit more about the route tree, but like the tools and the building blocks do seem to be there. Of the guys who are this tall, big outside type, he's the first one in this class that I really think that I'm like, I could talk myself into dreaming on this guy becoming that, really elite X. The other guys just I don't see it at all. But CJ Wiley, one of the first ones in this class where I'm like, I could talk myself into that. So certainly an intriguing guy. If he goes to LSU, FSU, Auburn with Walker White there in the future, looking good there. Georgia might be the best for his pro prospects, but not necessarily for fantasy production. But yeah, I like CJ Wiley. He's an interesting prospect, and they don't say that very often on these big, bulky outside receiver types.